You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Claire, I'm not standing here asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you not to marry him.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow.
It's the Al Travis Show. We're lucky to have Senator Mark Koran in with us today, and I'm glad he's here. Senator, 2025, write this year down as the most wild and crazy year ever when it comes to politics and medicine. We're just getting done with July. There's 5 more months.
Yeah, you've seen a theme. One starting way back in 2016, it was 10 years ago, August or whatever, entered this process. And one with the era of Trump, or the era of gross overreach and expansion of government to every facet of our lives. And right, you add up a 2-tier justice system, from energy to you name it. And then come 2023, the Democrats take total control. And that wasn't enough. Then they steal even more power through procedures. And citizens are frustrated. And look what happens. I mean, just the chaos, the special elections, that we've got up, the cat burgers and been now convicted. And just the actions are foundationally, it's not broken. I never say that.
But it's been rattled a little.
Well, when you throw out the foundation, it's 100%, right? The foundation of the decorum in the institution, the belief in the Constitution, right? The belief in the rule of law and the enforcement of the rule of law. It's the only thing that stops man from killing each other.
Yeah, completely agree. Today's topic, which I did not know I was ever going to be chatting about, but let's start. Naked guy in the Senate chambers is caught over the weekend, and I'm starting the rumor right now that he is found sitting in Senator Koran's desk. Is that any truth to that rumor?
I told him my first inclination was, based on the description, it must have been a House member because he didn't have a tie on. So
inside
no
baseball
for
joke. I love that.
Over the barbarians over in the House. But
that's funny.
But automatically go through in the heightened, right? Look what happened. Horrible murders, attacks on legislators' homes, outside of harassment, things that have occurred before. We've got a heightened level of security here. And then you find out some bozo not just walks in. I don't know how the heck he got in. Sounds like a couple times, and attempted a third attempt. And so that's that can be an alarming scenario. How did they get in?
Well, let's go back a little ways. And again, I don't know that I blame these people because I don't know who they are. I know the lieutenant governor is on it, but there's actually a committee about Capitol security that's supposed to meet 4 times a year. KTTC, I believe it is, went and looked to see if people have been doing that, and they haven't been. Not 4 times a year like they're supposed to. In 2023, 1 time. Now, if it's me and the same group of 10 guys get together every 3 months, the Capitol doesn't change enough every 3 months. The world doesn't change. I can see where you start getting laxed. But they're going to have to stand up now and say how a naked guy gets into the Senate chambers and say, well, we didn't look at, how to. There's going to be some accountability for this. Do you not think that this group hasn't been getting together and a naked guy can walk in the Capitol?
Yeah, but to imply just because a committee didn't meet that the security procedures haven't been continually looked at. And so we know, I don't know what my skills are. Observationalist. We've made great changes. Right from 2020, attempt to burn down the Capitol. Those types of things caused a change. I think we had 13 full-time highway patrols assigned to the Capitol. I believe we funded to double that to 24, and sadly, or little, I think it was 24, something like that. And in light of that, I think there's only 1 or 2 extras because of the actions and behaviors against law enforcement. We don't have recruiting. We can't hire enough people to fill the positions that we have.
Well, I guess I don't. It's the fact he got in, and some say maybe he got in during the day and just snuck around and hid around until the middle of the night. I have no idea. but I presumed, just I'm wrong, it's open from 8 to 5. They open the doors, they close the door, and when they close the door, they lock the door.
Yep.
So do we not just scan the building before we leave? Is there not even a count number who come in and how many go back out? I mean, we don't even try that hard.
Yeah, that was my, you go through the logical. All right, did the guy hide in a bathroom? Somebody not check a bathroom? What was the intent? We don't know enough yet, but we do know every single perimeter door likely has a camera. Every perimeter door has a key card access or is locked and inaccessible, period. And then in addition to get to the chamber, unless, and that's one thing that's been going through my mind, I don't recall, but in the front of the Senate chamber, there's a metal gate.
Yeah.
I don't think they closed the doors behind it. So, and I don't believe that metal gate goes up to the top of the door.
So, yeah.
To me, likely the only path, because if not, that person would then have to have gone through at least 2 additional barriers that are locked with key access, that's member access only. They're locked all the time. And so to have 3 locked doors to go through, and then to be able to do it, sounds like the guy got in twice.
Well, here's his, so he gets caught, and I presume, again, I don't know that it's a Tom Cruise movie, but I presume they're motion detectors, right? If you set your house off, so it goes off, we can find the guy.
There's a few cameras there. Just to say there's a few.
Okay. So somebody realized there's a naked guy sitting in Senator Koran's chair. So we go get him. They take him to Regents. Now, the guy's mumbling about being the governor. Now, I don't know what the standard of you're off your rocker is. I really don't. I'm not a doctor. But a guy naked in the Capitol saying he's the governor when he's not the governor leads me to believe he's not having his shiniest day. But Regents says, no, he's okay. Not a harm to anybody. He just wants to be the governor. So let him go. He goes back to the Capitol. Now, he gets picked up in the Capitol grounds, is what I understand. Brought back again. They're like, no, he's just fine. Let him be. Third time, we decided to take him into the jail cell and talk with him. And what do you know? He's got a warrant in Wisconsin. He's had 5 different runnings. Evidently, he is not going to hurt anybody. He's just a knucklehead.
Right.
I used the Otis thing, and I used this with Shannon Watson. Maybe we need a little Andy Griffith therapy here. I believe Regents maybe didn't have a bed for him. Maybe there's no place for him. I don't know where we're sitting with the mentally ill, but we need a place to put them until I don't know if he needs to sober up, get off drugs, or whatever the problem was. Otis came in to Andy, I'm drunk. I'm going to go sleep it off. Okay, let me know when you're done. I think we got to find places for these folks. This guy shouldn't have allowed 3 times to get to the Capitol.
He just happens to be one of hundreds, if not thousands, in St. Paul, Minneapolis, right, that are concentrated and living in a world that's some severe mental health issues and or drug related, as right, cause and effect, and almost always equally or always a part of these scenarios. And so they don't have any place to put them, right? What's Regents going to do with them? They're not going to do anything. And so in an immediate crisis, our police, our law officers deal with it every single day. Go right along. I told you, I went right along with the Minneapolis, Hennepin County EMT. Or EMS. They do that every day. They run it. Every single unit comes across the same person every day. It just depends on the crime they commit or what leads them into a situation where they hit the headlines. But for this guy, how we didn't identify him when he was actually physically into the Capitol, and to figure out who the heck he is, and then to find out on the third interaction, well, let's do a little research and find out that he has a warrant out from somewhere in Wisconsin.
Well, let me take it this way, and I know you've thought about this as a senator and our representatives and people we want to pick. 7-8 weeks ago, a deranged human made this plan into some horrendous things that will change this state forever. I'm not saying he's mentally healthy, but this guy had his faculties about him enough to come up with a plan and do the thing. And now you take this random, I've got my own issues, maybe homeless. This guy, he can figure out how to get into the Senate chambers undiscovered. I'm thinking, what if it was a knucklehead who really wanted to do damage and had half his faculties?
And it should be the easiest time to contain him because of the fact that it was after hours, right? No one had expectation. And there's a variety, right? There's a variety of us that go in key card access, but you're entering into a point where they all have access right from the moment you
Yep.
pull into the parking ramp,
Yep.
that you're identified. So you have all those things. But yeah, but at the same time, again, the heightened security, I can tell you while we're in session, when there's more and more people down
Yep.
there, our sergeant at arms, they've done an extraordinary job. They've really revamped who they are hiring. And last year was a noticeable difference in their presence. And so the balance we have, Al, is really working on this building has to stay open to the public. We cannot further isolate the legislature from the people, the transparency and the accountability that's baked into that. I know the natural tendency, not me or my party, to lock it down. And many on the other side have been inaccessible for most of the last 5 years. You can't have that in a functioning.
So give me 30 seconds. What is it that you or your side would like out of this incident? That group to get together and figure this out and lay it out for the rest of us? Do you lay out the issues so now knucklehead who couldn't figure it out now has a map? What do you want out of this?
I want an accounting, how the guy got in, how the procedures, and I know they're working on it. Multiple people have called for that, and let's see exactly what happened and see what was missed. If it's just somebody not watching a camera, then somebody needs to be fired. And to make sure that every one of them is doing their job, every single facet of what we depend on our government for. This is a fairly straightforward security measure of a building that would be unoccupied. This is the easiest task. It gets more complicated when we're in session or it gets busy down there. So,
all right, we've got to go to break. When we come back, just one more little fraud thing to discuss. It's Senator Mark Koran on the Al Travis Show.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals and to you. Coughing animals can lead to costly vet visits and other serious health problems. Now there's an environmentally safe solution for your dust problems. It's called Dust Lock. Dust Lock can control the dust all summer long with just one application. Protect your animals and your health with Dust Lock. Learn more at dustlock.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jays can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is a guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
A as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
And we've got him, Senator Mark Koran, on with us. Always when to talk about, I say blatant theft. They say fraud and waste. If you bought a hammer for too much money, there's waste. I get it. We can always look at trying to do better with that. I got it. Fraud is even too easy a term here. This is just blatant theft. What we're talking about, housing stabilization services. The federal government has come in and said, hey, wait, what in the world's going on? They send it through Medicare. Basically, as I understand it, we want to help the homeless people. We're going to call that a Medicaid thing. Mm-hmm. So we said, if you would go out and find a homeless person, you can spend up to 150 hours with them discussing their homelessness situation, how they can go about fixing said situation, and we'll pay you $70 an hour. Senator Koran, let's just say you're homeless for the day and I run into you. And I happen to study up on this. You don't have any money. Here's this program. You got a little money. Here's this program. Here's the other thing. I got a list of all the programs. How in God's green earth would I spend 150 hours with you discussing this? This is an hour-long meeting on its top side. You're either going to do it or you're not. I become your personal trainer for 150 hours. It makes it so ripe for fraud. What do you know? People come up, find a homeless guy, can get your name, thanks, writes it down, walks away, and gets $70 times 150 hours every time he does it.
Yeah, and now,
go ahead.
It's just another one. and so each of these, the governor will sit and cry, we're victims of these terrible crimes. Well, we've got thousands of people. It's their sole purpose in life at the state agencies to register, license, record, oversee, distribute, and verify every facet of these things. And in most cases, it's willful disregard to do your job. And so at some point, you have to ask, it can't happen accidentally over and over and over and over. It's the same model. Oh, we got a new qualifying reimbursable category for Medicaid. Great. All always couched under the guise of some social ill that we've not improved anybody except the lives of the thieves. And so the same thing. Wow, we just didn't know. Wow, we're shocked that it went from $2 million a year to now $100 million a year, and we just don't know what to do and how to keep up with it. It's the same scenario over and over, and you can't say that, well, the agencies were unprepared. It's been their sole purpose in life to deal with Medicaid and to have those tools. And all they tell us is, well, if we just had this, if we just had a new software, we're going to have new methodology, we're going to implement a swatch of
this doesn't work for me. I presume there's a person at Human Services that runs Housing Stabilization Services, Bob, the VP of that. I don't know who Bob is. But guess what, Bob? You were given $2.6 million the first year because we think there are 30,000 homeless people. Right. I don't know what the number is, right?
Right.
Great, Bob, let's manage this. Within 4 years is $107 million. And no one asked, Bob, do we have 50 times more homeless than you thought there were? Or were you off that much? Or have we not solved the homeless problem by the time we spent 50 times more than we thought we would?
Yep.
Where are we at homeless-wise, Bob? Yeah, so where are we at, Bob?
In addition, now, there are a whole host. We've already been piling millions of dollars. All of these nonprofits are designed to serve that community. The problem is it's extraordinarily profitable to live off that community.
So why end it? If you ended, then we would have no money. Yeah.
There's no incentive. All government grows, and government is never held accountable. Right there, from the county, the money Hennepin County spends alone. Ramsey County, St. Paul. There's dozens of nonprofits feeding on that same pool, attempting to help them. But this ties back to your other piece, where we started. How did the homeless guy with the mental health issues get into a building? We don't have. We need to either come back to some type of civil commitment to believe that allowing everybody to be on the streets in this inhumane environment, let's feed them drugs and let's enable them instead of trying to capture them, put them in a safe facility. If it's a state hospital, then it is. Yeah. But each one of those, I look at every day and say, all of them require a highly functional state government or multiple levels of government. We don't have it at any level today. And that's my greatest concern. I think we could have a solution, but every single one of them depends on these types of activities steal from the very needy people that we all agree we should provide a safety net for.
And that's exactly that is, you hit it on the head. I want to help homeless people. I want to help those kids that couldn't eat dinner because they didn't get their lunch program. I'm all for it. But if we make laws that make it so easy to walk up and just steal from the trough, because that $200 million or so they spent the last 5 years did not stop the homeless, did not get them housed.
Al, this has nothing to do with the laws. We need the people that are there to implement them and to be diligent. And think about Department of Human Services. Their sole purpose in life has been to provide those services, to build the parameters and the processes to validate. And I can tell you, they willfully implement procedures that allow non-qualified people under equity and all the other garbage terms that they use. So we have this type of activity, and it's across the board. Now, just in the quick break, feeding our future, unemployment theft, frontline worker pay, Medicaid, individual, adult daycare, child daycare, transportation, autism services, translation services, drug treatment, housing, and ancillary services, homeless placement services, child care assistance program. Every single one of them has been in the same scenario, and they willfully won't prosecute.
It's unbelievable. We got to fly. I love having you on, Senator. Appreciate you being here. We're out of time.
Have a great
Senator
day.
Mark Koran on the Al Travis Show.